I think what we're reading here on the Eugène Signal on March 26, 1978 may very well be the first article on targeted individuals, because they explain that people did get sick and felt certain signals, low signals, and experienced illness after or during, but not all. Some were in the room and did not experience it, and others did. And that could very well be an article on the first targeted individuals ever recorded in a newspaper or written about. And I am rather pleasantly surprised on the amount of details that are in this article, and that they were able to write about it in that candace way, and that try and do that nowadays is what I'm saying. Try to even make a Facebook post on it, or try to write on to your newspaper, see if they can create or place an article on frequencies nowadays, that is. Then you are a conspiracy theorist or a nutter, short term. So that was rather surprising. And even in this one, it says that in another article, or was it this one, it shows that even the government then was not very cooperative in seeking solutions or answers to what these people are experiencing or were experiencing. I'm gonna pause here and see if I can go to page 3A for it to continue. So here it goes on page 3A. Mystery signal discovered. And it's mostly the pulse. The pulse that is the beast of the system, mostly. The frequencies too, but the pulse is the one that does the most damage. Let me show you the. I hope it can. Oh, it can't. But the thing is, we know for a long while now what frequencies do, and it perhaps these old articles show us that they were already testing on civilians, and from there on they got to know the biological effects on certain frequencies, now known as, there's a PDF on biological effects on frequencies by the CIA that you can find online, and they've got it all figured out for a long time now, so they know the do's and don'ts on how to get people better or sick, and they can give people cancer in a very short period of time if they wish to. I think there was I'm not sure, I need to go back and research that, but there was a president in the Arab countries that was it Iran or Iraq that said they gave me cancer. I'm not sure, I need to look into that, but that's just a thought that came to mind. That was already figuring the new warfare out. And they've had these frequencies for longer. I've read an article that they even knew about these frequencies and the use of creating or changing moods into more happy or more aggression at times of World War II. And Everyone is asking themselves, how did it get that far? Well, propaganda got very far, and perhaps the frequencies too. So that's worth the research. They have the Lily wave that can basically make people crazy. That's the military Lily wave, and there are lots of other applications that can be done via frequency. They can EEG map us from a distance. They can make an MRI scan from a distance in our homes, from our body, and they can pinpoint it quite accurate. And it makes you wonder what we are being exposed to, not even knowing it, but do feel sick from it. Like many people say, I feel ill. Flu-like symptoms. Well, it all can be done via frequencies. But the thing I wanted to speak about was, we know what frequencies do, but the side not spoken of is the targeting on individuals, and that is getting more exposure because they are targeting more individuals. But then I want the discussion to shift from perhaps the frequencies to the human brain mapping project. And as I said, they can already make an MRI from you via satellite if they wish to, and they wish to. And so they are able to gather biological information in real time without us even knowing about it. And which brings me to the Human Brain Mapping Project that is gathering information from individuals, and I don't know in what way. They need a whole lot of brain mapping from individuals for that project, and I didn't give it to them, and I'm sure you didn't. And so I think it's time to raise the question on how are they gathering that biological information? Are they EEG scanning us in our homes? Are they collecting biological information via hospitals? How do they get to that brain mapping information? These are questions that we need to ask, I think. Second of all, they've come a long way with locating what does what in the brain, as they already knew, but in combination with the electromagnetic pulse actions that they already can do in the brain hacking they can do. For mankind to benefit from as they sell it. I'd like to make a little bit more awareness on the bad side of the brain mapping project, and that is the military aspect and the aspect of suppressing civilians or dissidents in that same topic. And that's the part they don't really speak about. And we all know they can target people with these electromagnetic pulses now. Enough attention has spent on that one, but the brain mapping project that's being sold as beneficiary has a shadow side to it, on military tactics unknown of by people that haven't experienced it yet. And that's the part where they can read our thoughts, they can see our thoughts, they can see what we see, and hear what we hear. And if they EEG clone you, they can even taste what you taste and feel what you feel. and record that even and play it back to you. And thus, if one experiences a certain smell, that could be EEG cloning. That's a form of targeting. And if you do, I don't know, you can make someone give the experience of a good flowery essence, or you give the experiences of, for instance, feces. Now that would make it military targeting. And if you use brain mapping and record memories, or keep tab of memories as they are, and you tag that memory or you tag that emotion, and you connect that emotion to, for instance, an action. And let's say, for instance, you think of your boyfriend and certain feelings go about with that boyfriend, and they decide that that's a good thing to harass someone with. If we can make that into a bad thing, then the military would most certainly use it in their new warfare, psychological warfare, physical warfare, by targeting. So they can get between relationships with that, and they can do that by, if you think of someone you love, they can create images in your head that will make that person hate you, and they will make a follow-up, for instance, with a directed energy attack on the body. And if you do that long enough, the subconscious may start to withdraw from that person, because there's trauma involved, and it's not done by the person, but the unconscious is getting that signal next time you see the one you love, in the subconscious, that something's not right, and anxiety may follow. So that's one, and they can do that with everyone you can possibly imagine. That's just one thing. They can even, I don't know, they can estrange a mother from their child and a child from a mother. They That's what they can do in relationships, and what they can do, or they can make your partner fall in love with another person synthetically, or you. Artificial infatuation is a possibility as well. They can manipulate everything. But the next step where I want to take you is that once they have your brain patterns and you think a certain thing, then that could be a command. They can make that, whatever it is, into a command to trigger something else. And if that command is, if that thought is, I'm going to drink my coffee now, they make that in a command. And next time you think of coffee, I don't know, your smartphone might turn on, might be switched on, or I don't know, your smart car might start. And the variables in that are endless, and they don't need a chip, people. They've gone past the chip factors, and I don't know whether or not nanoparticles in our food for decades might now have been the result for us to being targeted that easily, or that we are so saturated with nanoparticles that we are indeed unwillingly transhumanist. I need to try and do a heavy metal detox and see if that makes the targeting less. So I cannot speak from first hand. There's people that have done a heavy metal detox that say that they are not less targeted, but their influence is less. But that can also be just manipulation. That's one part of targeting. They make you believe things and then show you that you were wrong, and that's the psychological warfare aspect from it. But the thing that I wanted to stretch was that the biomarkers in your brain may be anything. It may be a smell, a thought, a memory, or something you say, or certain routes that you take in your home. I had at one point that I was walking into the bedroom, and every time I walked into the bedroom, they would attack my jaws, and my teeth would clamp on each other, and really hard. They're really trying to break teeth from people, and I've known targeted individuals that have already broken teeth. So this is what they do, and that makes it, I think, the reason I'm sharing that it shows the severity of this program that's being done to these people, that they do not shunt physical harm and or worse. So I hope I'm explaining this well, and I hope there is a little more understanding on the brain mapping project, and that your own senses can be used against you in your own body, by making you smell things that aren't there, or making you hear things that aren't there with synthetic telepathy and forced hallucinations. There's a patent on that one. Synthetic telepathy is here for a long time now, and they use it, and they use it to shout in your head, or they use it to whisper in your head, or they use it to modify and manipulate your dreams into nightmares. And the microwave auditory hearing they use to speak in your surroundings, and it's like your neighbor is speaking to you, but it's just a microwave auditory hearing with a sample of their voice. So don't go start blaming your neighbor, please. I think it's the optimal divide and conquer steps that they are taking, but they're now going about the human domain. And I think the Jade Helm topic was on topic, but did not see it coming in the way that it was targeting our body, the human domain, and that relationships were meant to go under high pressure by deceiving, etc. It's all being exposed, of course, but you need to know where to look, and you need to look in the military lectures and in the military PDFs, and there it all is. You can all find it there. If you read the PDF from the NATO Cognitive Warfare, then you will find that neuroscience will be used against us and will be used on civilians to take away trust, mainly. That was their main topic. It's about taking away trust in everything, and that's why I think I'm exposing this to protect us more against divide and conquer in ways unknown before. This tech has wonderful opportunities, but it has way more downfalls that we need to address, and the downfalls are there in our body, like they're already the World Economic Forum is already exposing that, so that's a good thing. It's no longer silent. It's now reached the masses, but the ways that they are doing that are not as openly exposed, and that's what I try to do here a little bit. They can go in our brain, and one day, of course, we can fly an airplane with our brain, and that sounds like a good thing, but if you realize that then another hacker might be thinking that plane down, then there's the downside to that. So there's a lot we need to think about, not just look at the positive aspects of human brain mapping, where a person that can no longer that is disabled in her bodily functions can now have a brain chip, and make a robot serve her kind of soda. That might seem as a good thing, but the downfall is that, first of all, they don't need that chip. They don't need that brain machine interface anymore. They can do it without. But they can do it from a distance, and that woman is making her robot, giving her that soda can, but someone else can use us as their robot to do certain things for them, or to frame us as mentally labeled. If they can make us speak in public, if they remote control our mouth and our brain, they can make us say things or do things in public that can frame us or can bring us in legal positions that aren't good for us. We really need to think about this. And no one's asking these questions. We know that the police isn't ready for this. When you say, I'm being harassed and I'm being targeted, then they still try to send you to, or they won't send you to a mental health institute, but they will send you a psychologist at your door to ask if you're okay. And then you need to be really prepared and know what you're talking about, and on the insights of all this tech in the Human Brain Mapping Project, etc. And if you get electro pulses in the head or the body, know that it can very well be from the targeting, and the police then shall say, if you experience that, you need to go see a doctor. So the police is not ready for targeted individuals, or at least the protocol isn't. And I think if we cannot fight back instantly on the fact that we are being targeted because of a protocol, then step 2 is change the protocol. And so there's a little advice on onward thinking, how to steer things for the better. It's the government's job to inform the lower ranks of police on new developments, just know that, and they haven't done that just yet. And that's why people are now sent to mental health institute if they try to expose this towards the police, that crimes against humanity are being done to them. And I think we are able to change that, and that's creative thinking. If you can't go left, then please go right and try there. Just don't give up, and do inform yourself more on rights in general, human rights in general, and neural rights are on their way. But in my opinion, these are they should not be necessary, because we already have severe laws on privacy that should be enforced more. And what good will a neural law do if all the other ones were trespassed already? So there's that. And I want to say that many people that experience these horrid targeting moments are being left by their family and friends, because they are uninformed on the topic. And I think it's time to really speak more about this military targeting, because it's being done to millions and millions of individuals already, and even entire towns. Seattle at once was targeted entirely, and I've read about more towns that were, and peaceful activists in Oregon were all targeted. And well, there's a lot going on the directed energy warfare and the electric warfare that we need to discuss, and the ties with the Human Brain Mapping Project and NATO, etc., cannot be denied. The ties with DARPA cannot be denied. And we can look at the positive side on the human brain mapping project that can read the mind of a person that is in a coma, but there's this dark side that we need to address, and I like to stay positive, but only once the dark side has been cleaned up, and we build on from there. And the dark side is overshadowing the light at this moment, and the brain mapping project has more downfalls than upsides in my regards. And if it was up to me, I would destroy all the personal brain mapping projects that they illegally gathered, and have people safe again. But that's just me.